Welcome to the CFO Classics Library Podcast. In this message from the 1961 Montana Camps Farthest Out, Bernie Warfield teaches how we need to stand strong and hold on to our faith in God.
The hardest part of the camp is now, when you get ready to leave, You've been under such a lovely atmosphere. Otherwise, we've been up on top of the mountain. And it's this coming down is where it really will test out what you have received. You remember up on the mountain when Jesus and the disciples were up there, things were just like the word CFO here, Things are so good up there and so glorious and so blissful until they say, well, let us build some houses up here, tabernacles or something like that. And but you find that after Jesus had been upon the mountaintop, there was always a job when he came down. And remember that when he came down off the mountain, there was a boy that had fits down there. And his disciples had tried to heal him, but they couldn't heal him. And Jesus did heal the boy. And what I'm trying to say is that you and I are going home, and this mountaintop experience that you've had, you're going to find many things that you are going to be confronted with. Because after each experience, each spiritual experience, there's always something that will come into your life, somebody will come into your life, or some not a problem necessarily, but something that you can use this that you have received here in. And you won't have to brag about how good it was here. For a while you can show them, but I'll tell you, the shine will come off, And the shine will come off, and you get right down and you begin to stand on the ground and face realities. But you must always remember the really true things and the real things that you have received here. You will never lose them. You may think you have lost them, but you will never lose them. You will find they have been a seed that has grown and will grow on. And after a while, you look back and said, well, I didn't know this thing was this big, but you had been using it. And don't forget to use what you have. Now, if you go home and put this in a can, and put a seal on it, why, boy, you're in for something. It's not going to do you. It's not going to do you any good. You see, it'll spoil. It's like when the children of Israel got across the Red Sea, and they were hungry people. I still say they were CFOs. And they began to want, bread, and everything of that sort, and so they told Moses about it, and then Moses told God, and then I like to say that God started a bakery up in heaven, and he rained down loaves of bread. But this was very peculiar bread. It was a kind of a bread that you couldn't store up. You couldn't put it in a deep freeze, overnight. And they told them just to gather enough for the day. And anybody that put up some, hoarding it why, it spoiled on them. And so it's the same with this that you receive here at CFO. Don't try to put it in a deep freezer. Don't try to can it up and just say, this is mine. But give it to someone, whoever comes to your door, whoever you see that stands in need of what you have, this love of God and this halo business that this brightness on your face that comes. Let them enjoy it also. That reminds me about the about that bread that was baked up in heaven. Yeah, the Jewish theologians say that bread could taste like anything that you wanted. They have a new wrinkle on that. He said if you wanted that bread to taste like meat, it was meat. If you wanted it to taste like, green beans or something like that, why, it would taste like that. Otherwise, it filled the bill, whatever your appetite called for. And you see, after all, I think we don't want to confuse ourselves with analyzing and cutting up the Spirit into too many pieces, because after all, there is one power. But in that one power, there is everything you need, whatever you want it for. If you want it for healing, it's there. If you want it for strength, it's there. If you want it for courage, it's there. If you want it for anything of that sort, why, this is what you have is able to do it. And don't be stingy with it. Give it, and then you can receive it. That's the law of the kingdom. Don't forget that. If you hold it, you lose it. If you lose it, why, you can hold it. That's funny talk, isn't it? But that's kingdom talk. See, the least down here is the greatest up there. The greatest up there is the least down here. See, that's the way it is in the kingdom. Just the reverse of what it is on earth. And so when you go back, give. Just give everything you've got. And you'll find that even this time next year, your capacity to receive will be much larger. And as you go back to, don't forget this, that the same thing every now and then, the thing that you have felt here will come through in mighty force. Don't forget to pray. Don't forget to meditate. I can't stress that too. I've tried to stress that in every prayer group that I've been. It's one of the finest things, and to me, it's one of those that if there isn't any corners to cut, as far as spiritual growth is concerned, you can cut the corners when you meditate consistently. It's a hard job, not a hard job, but it is a tedious job, I would say, because our minds, regardless of what you and I think about it, it's not as tame as you think it is. It's really the wild horse. And if you want to try to tame it, while you start trying to tell it to concentrate on any one thing in a length of time, you'll see how it really is. And another thing, last night, I may not have gotten it over out there last night, but I do want you to go over the life of Jesus time and time again, because if you will get into that stream of his life, into that spirit of his life, it's a thing, it's so powerful that it can save you from many a pitfall in this spiritual adventure. There is a particular level in this spiritual adventure where you will run into or run up on, it's beautiful stuff. It's kind of, fairyland, everything is glittering, and beautiful colors and lights and all like that, but that's not the highest, See, that's where the danger comes in, see. That's not the highest. And it's not the, it's not reality. It's not the highest truth. Because those they'll pass away. I passed through that stage, boy. Oh, it was beautiful, all kind of thing. And I would just wait. Sometimes, you just wait till you go to bed, boy, and just sit there and meditate a little bit, and get in that particular realm. And, boy, all those beautiful things, boy, I thought I was on cloud 9, and going to zillion, But cloud 9 is not the highest. It's not the highest. And in the long run, it's not the best. There's a danger zone in there. There's a danger zone in there. But the reason I'm telling you that you can put any zone, or any level where you have reached, you can put it up beside the life of Jesus Christ and what he stood for and what he taught. And you can tell which is right and which is wrong. And it will also, it will also prove a protection for you. Well, you can surround yourself with this love and light of Jesus Christ. and it'll bring you out of anything. Because he says, I have all power. That's what I want you to get. That he says, I've got all power. And when he says all, he means all. And so, in going along in this thing, be courageous too. When you go back home, I said there's going to be a job to do. For instance, you remember, what story is that? Yeah. Now, that story about, you remember that story where it says the four men who took the man who was sick to Jesus and let him down through the roof? You remember? Oh, yeah, that's the story. Jim said that was it. So I'm going on. I'm going to take his word for it. You know, every time you read one of these Bible stories like that, why, it brings a new truth to you. And don't be afraid to reread a story. Because every time you reread it, if you gain a little bit, it's going to be something a little different from what you learned about it the last time. I like to think of this story and kind of put my own imaginations into it about these four men who went down the street to get their friend and take him to Jesus. Now, we don't know what this man's ailment was, but there is a tradition, or whatever you want to call it, that this particular man was a priest. And here he was sick. And these men took it upon themselves to go down. They heard that Jesus was in town, and they knew about his power of healing, and they made it up among themselves, said, come on, let's get together here, and let's go down and get our friend. I don't know whether he even was a friend or not. I don't know whether he lived next door or not, you know. He might live way across town. But anyhow, they thought so much of this friend and said, let's go get him. And so they went and got him and put him on one of these beds that they used in that time. And when they got to the place where Jesus was, you remember, they said that there was such a crowd around them until they couldn't get in. Well, and I want you to notice this. That house didn't belong, where Jesus was doing all this healing and talking. It didn't belong to either one of the four. It didn't belong to them, but these fellows were so determined that they were going to take their friend to Jesus until they went up on the roof. And you know, I don't know what was up on the roof. I don't know anything about it. I know that some of those eastern houses, you got a thing up there, but the Bible says they made a hole in the roof. And so I like to, you know, give the benefit of the doubt there, you know. Give me the benefit of the doubt anyhow. That they went up there, and because they wanted this man to be healed and to be let down at the foot of Jesus, boy, they started hacking up on the top of his roof with an axe. And the Bible says they cut a hole in that roof. Now, what would happen to you if you went back home and, you know, and you went back home and you say, well, come on, Sue, come on, Jane, come on, Tom, come on, Dick, and we're going to do a job down here. That's something we ought to do in the house, and we can't get in it, so you better bring your axe along, you know. And so you get down there and you go to hacking on somebody else's house. Huh? Boy, they would throw you in jail, wouldn't they? Huh? But these men did that. And I imagine as they went on up, it was a kind of a tedious job. But every now and then, I think one would holler to the other, and there's four of them, remember? They say, hold your corner. You know how you're taking something up a steps, you know, and you have to brace yourself. And as they get up into a tight place, every now and then, they would holler to one another, hold your corner. And you know, that's what you and I are going to have to do. Each one of us is we are going to have to hold our corner. You hold your corner. And that fellow over there hold his corner. And we all hold our corners together. And we can let many a man, many a woman, many a boy and many a girl that needs Jesus, we can let them and bring them to the feet of Jesus. But hold your corner. Hold that which you have received here. Every time God reveals something to you, honey, hold on to it with all the strength you've got. Just hold it. It may be a little rough, and maybe you might have to stumble, but, hold it anyhow. And not long ago at our church here, we had some very fine men, and some of the men are very, very strong. Some of them had worked in the South and knew how to handle bales of cotton, and all that. And whenever I want something lifted, I call on some of the boys that were born down around Mississippi. And boy, they can get under something, and just make it go along like all get out, a piano or anything like that. And they know how to do it. They do it in a perfect rhythm. We were taking a piano from the basement floor up into the Della Warfield room. And they got a room there they call it Della Warfield room, dedicated to my wife. And they do it in perfect rhythm. They get on, all of them get on and say, "Now are you ready?" And they say, "Yes." And everybody moves, and then as they go up steps, it's just a perfect rhythm. Everybody moving and holding their corner, see, and in perfect rhythm. And that's the thing is very essential in this whole thing, is that you move in rhythm and in unison with what you know deep down in your heart. That's the thing about it. Be sure and do that. And this man, you remember, was let down at the feet of Jesus. And and Jesus looked at this man and said, "Thy sins be forgiven thee." Now, if that was a priest, that was an embarrassing situation, wasn't it? Huh? Yeah. It'd be the same in my town, Why, here they're bringing me to be healed, and then Jesus exposes me and says, "Bernie, your sins be forgiven me." And they say, "Well, the gossip would start then, didn't it? Yeah, the gossip would start. Say, "Oh, yeah, I told you that. Now Jesus has pulled the cover off of it, But there he was. And that's rather true. That's rather true whether you're a priest or whether you're a savage or a saint. Why, Jesus will tell you what's the matter with you. And when you admit it and know it, why, it doesn't make any difference to him because he loves us that much. And sometimes you're confronted with that, For instance, sometimes you try to save yourself, and can't nobody save you but him anyhow, And sometimes we are pushed into doing things because we wonder what the other people would say. And sometimes we are we'll do nearly anything to keep any reproach or anything coming up on our family name. Now, the Warfield family, we are very proud of our name. There's a lot of us. There was 3 or 4 families of Warfields in the town where I was born and raised, and none of them were in a relation as we know of. Also, my mother was a Warfield before she married, and she married a Warfield, so that, you see, we got a double portion there or something. But when it comes to that, and even my kids, I don't know how far we would go to protect each other's name. And yet we are not so proud to say that we are the perfect ones or anything of that sort. And I believe in a family sticking together. I believe in that. I don't know. It's good. Anybody else? We can talk about each other all we want, but don't let nobody else talk, you know. But as I go along, and maybe things come up, or I see some other situation, I said, well, suppose that was my boy. What would I say and what would I do? You see, I tried to put myself in the other fellow's place. But I think now even, and things have come up. But I say, well, Warfield, the name of Warfield, so what? Because Warfields have to be tested just like anybody else. They've got to be tried just like anybody else. And if it's something that they want a Warfield to go through to make him strong and a better man and a better woman and a better boy, a better girl, get on through there. That's what we tell our kids. Stand up and take it. Face it, because you're the better for it. It's those things that comes into your life. And the thing about it is, let us go back home. And you know, there are hungry people. There are hungry people right in your own church that are hungry for the thing that you can give. Now, you don't have to get up in the pulpit and take over. And you don't have to fire your minister when you get back, you know. But you get in there, and with this spirit that you have, this humble spirit that you should have when you go back there, and you will find that you can be a powerhouse for good in your local church. Now, I won't say that you change things, and sometimes if you're not careful, they'll take what you have out of you. That happens too, you know, sometimes. And don't you kid yourself on that. Because if you go back home and try to change things, why, sometimes you run up against a brick wall. But don't try to change anybody, just be yourself. And live up to the highest that you know. And I want to tell you this again, that God pays off for trying. God pays off for doing the best that you can. Some of the blessings that have come to me and has come to my church is because when we were in the old church in the early days, that we tried to be faithful over that old church down there. When sometimes it had rained like it did last night at our church, the basement would have flooded and maybe 2 feet of water would have come into our church through the toilet facilities around there. And how many times my wife and I have gotten down there with old brooms and nobody to come and help us. I don't know what was the matter with the membership. They must not have loved us. But my wife and I had to get down there and put old boots on, and she would get there near the kitchen where the water had come in, and I would get way up this way, and she'd brush the water part of the way, and I'd take old broom and swish it on the rest of the way, in order that it might get out. And sometime we couldn't get it all out before that old gooey mud that had backed up from the sewer and from the river and everything was on the floor. And we'd have to take a hose and just go all over it and scrub, and then she sweep and I sweep, and we got it out. But we never did stop sweeping. We just kept on sweeping. We never did get back off of any job, whether it's making a fire or what it was. We just kept on serving. And you know, on October 23rd last year, we swept ourselves out of that old church and into another one. He'll do that. You just keep on. I know it's drudgery. You say, well, I ought not do this. Suppose I had been one of those fellows who say, well, I'm the big minister. I'm not supposed to, you know. I'm not supposed to do that, you know, with my white collar on and all that stuff, you know. And but I'd do it again. And they know we'll do it again. Because Dell and I have gone along this many years. Let's see, how long we've been married now. Let's see. 17, 7 from 11, 4. 44 years this past June. 44 years. I was nothing but a schoolboy when I married, 17. But we've been together all that long time. It hasn't been easy, no, but ever since I've gone into the ministry, I was telling somebody yesterday, when I found my place, and when I accepted that call from that little old church in Noblesville, I fell into the place right there, and I knew I was in the right place. Yes, the money got low, yes, but I was in my right place. And sometimes I didn't see how we were going to educate our children, but I knew I was in the right place. And I know now that all I have to do is to be in the right place, and God will do the rest of it. He'll do the rest of it. Be faithful over that that God has made you a rather overseer. And one of these days He'll lift you up out of that you so dread. I think it came up in one of our prayer groups about what kind of a job. Whatever kind of job you do it the best you can. Because God has given you that at that particular time. If you be faithful over that small thing, He'll make you ruler over something bigger. And that's what I tell young people and young preachers anyhow when they go into a church. They look at our church there, around 400 membership. They see two choirs singing every Sunday morning, and they see people crowd. They see an usher board of about 10 or 12 uniformed ushers and all like that, and they see that long, when we open our service, that long choir coming down and singing, "Oh, how I love Jesus," in a rhythmic way there. And they look back and say, "Well, if I could get a church like that, yeah, it's all right." But it wasn't always that way. And all I had to do is go back about 20 or 23 years, and it wasn't like that. But I just stood there and did the best that I could with what I had. And honey, I want to tell you, God will move. God will move. And I want to tell you this, that you may have some problems when you get back home. For generally, when you come off the mountaintop, there's a job to do at home somewhere. But these problems and these things are only the things that tend to purify your spirit. You remember out on the Isle of Patmos, when John was out there, and John had a vision, and you remember he saw a great host of people, and he said, "Lord, who are these?" And he went on to say about the 12 tribes, the 144,000, etc. And then he said, he looked again, and there was a number who no man could count. And the question was asked, who are these? And I like these three words. These are they that have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb, in the life and in the nature of the Lamb of God. These are they that have come up through great trials and tribulations. And notice that, and washed their robes and made them white. What did they wash them in? They washed them in the soap or the detergent of trial and tribulation and experience. And so when you run up on a problem, and it seems to be getting the best of you, honey, but it's only God helping you to wash your robe of every spot and every blemish. Because your robe and mine is supposed to be white. As the Bible says, without spot or wrinkle. For we shall be like him, and we shall see him as he is. You know, that number that they could not count, that's the number that you and I will be in. And you know, we are going to sing a song, and we can sing a song that angels can't sing, because they've never been down here to go through what we have gone through. We can sing the song of the redeemed. Oh, that's beautiful. We can sing the song of the redeemed. And it's because it's people like you have joined yourselves together in this love and fellowship. And you know, if you happen to be ahead of me, why, you look way down the line, I'm coming. I'll be there. I might have a few more steps to make. And if I get there ahead of you, I know you'll be there, because I'm not going to rest until I see you. Because I know now, friends, that we are spirit of His Spirit, and that we are mind of His mind, and we are life of His life. Because there is only one life. There's only one mind. There's only one Spirit. I am you, and you are me. One day, we will be one, even as they, the Trinity, are one. Pray for me when you think of me, and I'll do the same for you. We'll meet again on this earth somewhere, maybe. What difference does it make where you meet? Because I shall never die, and you shall never die. Because somewhere we will meet. Even if it's 1,000 or 10,000 years, what's that to God? For that eternal Spirit within us will live on. And we'll love each other. And we'll know what it means to be born of the love of Christ. Bless everyone out here.
Thank you for listening to the CFO Classics Library podcast, brought to you by Shepherd Ministries, Incorporated. To learn more about the CFO Classics Library, please visit our website at www.cfoclassicslibrary.org. To learn more about the Camps Farthest Out and how they can help you grow in your walk with God, or to find a camp near you, please visit their website at cfonorthamerica.org.